Hello everybody, it's Donna over here at Purple Pinky Promises, and I have a project that's an outside-inside card project to share with you today. And we are going to feature these lots of stars, background stencils from Fawn. And right there I was just showing you which stencil I decided to work with. I decided to work with the one that had more space available. And you'll kind of see why I chose the one that didn't have as many stars on it, because I'm going to actually do something with this stencil. I first lined everything up in the corner of my Waffle Flower Media Mat, Water Media Mat, so that I kind of can go back to the same spot pretty easy each time I decide that I'm going to turn this stencil. And you may not have seen it, but I actually have turned this stencil to the right. So putting on a second layer of color here. We started out with Wintergreen and now we're working with Serene. And I have fast forwarded through quite a bit of this so that I don't bore you with the same old. But I want to point out that on the outside piece, I did fuss with it a little more than I really feel like was necessary. And I think that if you don't cover as many stars as I did in the very beginning, and I do this actually later for the inside, I don't grab as many stars. And it leaves more space for you to continue to layer your stars and gives you more options on where to place those stars as you turn that stencil. So next I've got some whipped honey, and we've turned this stencil. So basically you're going to rotate this stencil to the right until you have completed 3 turns, excuse me, until you're, I believe that's, how many times did I turn that stencil? I turned it just enough to get 4 different colors of stars on there. And you'll have to excuse my groggy voice because I'm working in the wee hours of the morning here, folks, and my brain doesn't always work as well this early in the morning. So, okay, there you go. I have actually put all 4 colors on. I used I think that last color was Tranquil. Yes, it was Tranquil. All right, so once I inked all of these stars on there, I realized, you know what? Wouldn't it be cute to put some of that Lawn Fawn stencil paste? I believe it's called Fairy Dust. Is that what it's called? Yes, it's called Fairy Dust. And so I just grabbed some Fairy Dust and I just placed it on there, here and there, and just randomly on every, I did make sure that I put some on every color. And you're going to see here in just a second, when I pull this stencil off, I have a moment of, oh, because I didn't let that stencil dry, or I didn't let that paste dry. So I go, whoops, nope, we don't want to put that down yet. Luckily, it didn't ruin it. So I'm giving you a look at how shimmery and shiny. That does dry clear so that you can actually see the sparkle and you can see the color behind it. So it's kind of neat. It's translucent and really pretty. It really accents the project. Okay. Putting on some more stencil paste with the green ink. And I will tell you that I edited this. I dried off. I made sure that that stencil paste was dried between each application so that I didn't put it back down and smush it. I just used my heat tool and it dries really quickly. It wasn't a long waiting process to actually wait between layers. So this last one is the Whipped Honey, just basically randomly picking some stars to put some of this this gorgeous stencil paste. Okay. Now I'm going on to the inside. And this is where I'm going to show you that I didn't fuss as much. Now I have lined this stencil up to the very right corner of the inside of my card base. And this time I decide I'm going to start out with Tranquil. And as you can see, I don't actually catch every star. I just kind of go here and there. And that did leave me more room to add color. So here I'm turned it to the right, rotated to the right. And I did tape up the left side so I wouldn't get ink over there. And here I am. Now I'm going in with my Serene. Cleaning off that stencil in between, making sure I don't pick up the ink. So there I showed you the rotation. And now we can go with our next ink. So I've lined this up at the bottom right. And Whipped Honey next. And you know, honestly, these don't look so bad overlapped. So I realized after doing that front, the card front, that I fussed way too much with it. And I didn't need to stress out as much over covering all of those stars in places that I didn't necessarily need to do that. This really did give me more placement of my stars. You can see how scrunched up that card front is versus the inside. And I got lucky because I found two spots that worked perfectly for my sentiment. The fairy dust stencil paste did not interfere with the placement of my sentiments. So, yeah, lucky me. So, make sure you take that into consideration if you decide to replicate this project. Take into consideration where you're laying down some of that stencil paste. My stencil paste wasn't perfect on there, and I'll just tell you, I wasn't too bothered by that. I liked the shine and the shimmer. As long as it stayed fairly close inside those stars, I was good and happy. So now we're putting on the second sentiment. And I do stamp my images, my black. My favorite black ink is the Versafine Clair ink in Nocturne. I really, really, really love this ink. I rarely ever have to stamp twice with it. As you'll see there, I didn't have to stamp twice at all. Okay, so now we're going to the inside. And I did have to tuck that left side underneath and tape it down so that I could get that stamped on there. And I loved the sentiment because wishes makes me think of stars, and dreaming makes me think of stars. And now I'm telling you that I've left that space on the left there for you to write on, or for me to write on. So I am just advising you, if you want to write something, leave that left side available for that. I kind of like how it comes over to the left just a little bit over the center crease. Okay, I did die cut my stars, and I die cut them. Oh, and by the way, I think I did tell you that those stamps, the sentiments, were from Lawn Fawn Dandy Day. Everything will be listed in the description up above for Facebook and down below for YouTube. Um, I decided that I didn't want the stars to be solid. I really wanted more stars to show through. And all that hard work, I wanted you to be able to see it. So I die cut those smaller stars out of the centers, which left me some leftover stars to put on the inside, as you'll see later. And I fiddled with the placement of this for quite some time. Forever and ever and a day. Until I finally just said, just put it down. So I want to tell you the colors of this cardstock. This is from Concord 9th. This is new to the store. I love these colors, these cardstock colors. The one I'm fiddling with is Stardust. And that purple one is Eggplant. The mint colored one is Sea Glass. And the navy one is actually called Midnight. So we just have some really pretty cardstock that has hit the store. And I wanted to play with it. And I absolutely love how these Catherine Pooler inks, they coordinated really nicely with this cardstock. It looks really good. All right. And that Stardust, which is a really going to be a gorgeous fall color that I'll use. So that Stardust star is actually put up on dimension, and so is the minty sea glass one. They're both on dimension, and I believe I put that, yep, this last one is on dimension as well. The sea glass one is actually on double dimension. So, yeah, it's giving it some interest. All right, I've pulled out my Catherine Pooler sequins. Can't live without those, can we? And I have grabbed Helsinki, Loveladies, and Berryton. And later on, I do grab my Pinkfresh pearls. And I add those on there to the center of some of these sequins. And then I just add them on by themselves. And I don't bore you with all of the whole process that I went through to try to figure out where I'm going to put these puppies, because that took forever too. So those the gold pearls that are coming up here in just a moment, those are from Pinkfresh, and they are the metallic pearls, those in matte gold. And I just put those on and put them on again. All right. Card front. Done. And that card front does measure 4 by 5 1/4. And I put it on dimension with some dimension tape. But I guess we're jumping to the inside first. So here's the inside. And I just got those stars on there. Willy-nilly. You guys, after looking back over this, my thoughts are that inside could be just fine without those extra die cuts. So that stenciling on the inside is just pretty on its own. But I just decided I wanted to do this with my extra dies. And there it is. Inside done. Inside complete. Yay! And again, this card front is on there with some double-sided foam tape. And there it is. I certainly appreciate you guys stopping by. I hope this gave you some inspiration on those inside of your cards. Sometimes that can be a little difficult to brainstorm. But yes. So thanks again, and I hope you all have a great day. Bye-bye.